Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, view the previous episode. Happy listening. So, I remember I was thinking about this today. That's why I'm kind of laughing because I hadn't thought about this in a while. When I was young, now I talked about it in another episode where like we're almost 5 years apart, and she was very stupid when she was 14. She felt very threatened. Again, attention. So if anybody is getting attention, you're a threat. I was like 9. Fine. What, I'm playing with freaking Barbies. How much of a threat could I be, right? But it doesn't matter. It's their perception issue. And my sister's big thing is to rile up. I might have not said the word correctly, but rile up trouble. Okay. Again, she likes pitting people against, like, she likes to be right, and she likes to be the one that like has confrontation with people. Okay. So this was always. So at a very early age, I learned just don't entertain it. If she asks you something, you didn't hear it and you didn't see it. So one day she was now again, I might have been like 9 or 10, and she was like 14 or 15. And she was going on about something. She had an issue with oh, what a shocker. She had an issue about something, and I don't remember what it was. But let's just say for argument's sake, it was the neighbor. She had an issue with the neighbor, and I was there. And she's going on and telling my mother about it, and then turned to me and said, "Chrissy, you heard that too, right?" And it's like I was 9 or 10, and I knew that this woman was a lunatic. Like, I knew this girl was a lunatic. She wanted to just stir up so much trouble, and I used to always say to her, like, when she said I'd be like, "Oh, no, I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention," or, "Oh, no, I didn't hear it," right? So after a while of this, she would call me deaf, dumb, and blind. Now you might be wondering that. First, I was always like, "I didn't see it," right? Of course I saw it. I'm not going there. Even as a kid, I was like, "There's something wrong with you." I would always be like, "Oh, no," like, because again, she would be like, "Didn't you hear that? Aren't you as angry as I am?" And I would be like, "Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was over here playing with, Tommy Boy or whoever, some kid." And I have a learning disability. So between the 3, I was useless to her. She would always say, like, again, I would say, "Oh, I didn't see it." And she would be like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. You're deaf, dumb, and blind." And so that was a common thing. I just look at it as an adult, and it was just so typical my sister. "You're not serving a purpose? You're not benefiting me? Yeah, you have the problem." So that there was just a lot with my sister. I remember one time there always have to be fighting. The borderlines, the cluster Bs always have to be fighting. Always. Okay. They can't, it's almost like they'll malfunction if they're calm and rational. So she was fighting with a family member, and I walked into the room, and as soon as I saw what was going on, I tried to, like, just turn and walk out, and she was like, "Chrissy, Chrissy, come over here, sit, sit." And then she started, like, pleading her case to me, like, why she was right in this situation. And I was just like, "Well, I don't know." I was like, "Listen, I have an opinion on everything. So I had to be like, "Oh, well, I don't know much about what you're talking about," you know? And again, she's like, "Yeah, but wouldn't you say that I was right and blah, blah, blah?" And I was like, "Well," I said, "I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it doesn't seem very fun." Like, I'd be like, "Let's talk about something fun." That's not how borderline cluster Bs are. So later on, she grabs me by the shoulder because, they're volatile. "You agree with me no matter what. I don't wanna ever hear you say that again, that you don't know." I was like, "Well, I kinda didn't agree." She's like, "I don't care. You agree with me no matter what." And of course I didn't. But this is the kind of person that my parents in the later years of their life are is dealing they're dealing with. And she's just horrible. So at some point, I mean, I know what the reason is. It was money related, with not to me. But she was once again, she was trying to go after some money from my parents. And I said to my dad, I said, "I am done with her. I am done playing defense, trying to keep her stable, trying to keep her away," because she was closing more and more in on taking some kind of action to obtain this money, and she wanted to, like, confront my parents, and she wanted to there's more to the story, obviously, but she up until that point, she was just talking, "Oh, I should have it out with them. I should have it out with them. I should tell them exactly what I think and blah, 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 blah." And so for a while, it was just talk. Okay. So I was listening every other day. And because I had to, obviously a lot of alcohol and just to drown her out. And then finally she was like, "That's it. I'm coming over their house and we're having it out and I'm getting the money that I need and blah, 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 blah." And she wanted to drag me along. "We're going to have a talk with them." No, absolutely not. So the whole time I was with, like my sister, um, within the last few years, my parents know about everything, all the plotting, all the scheming, all the everything, how they're wrong about everything. Um, and the thing is, I would have not been in that situation if it wasn't for my parents, right? And that's why I don't like, normally if people tell me something, I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm not gonna tell people, and especially if it's gonna be something that hurts somebody. But the thing was, my main focus for the past couple of years was to play defense, meaning keep her at a distance, keep her kind of under control, like having because my parents stopped talking to her basically. Like it was really like we went from a very close family for the most part to like they cut her off. You know, not really, but compared to how it was. So she couldn't get to them. So she had to talk my ear off and she had to monopolize my time. And so I said to my father, my mother too, but then like within the last year or something, my mom's just not up for it. So I said, like, if it wasn't up, if it wasn't for you two, my parents, I wouldn't have anything to do with her. Like, I I I don't wish her ill will. I just don't want to be around somebody that toxic and volatile and narcissistic, really. Um, so I was doing it so, we could have birthdays and holidays and some kind of semblance of a normal family. And then when she tried to drag me in and again, I told my parents everything on what was happening, like, "This is what she's up to now. This is what she's accusing now," like, like, accusing, like, "They're going behind my back." I don't know, t these borderlines, they just go on about nothing, and if you're familiar with them, you know that. And I chose to play like a double agent, and my parents weren't like, "Will you play a double agent and tell me what's going on?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm gonna be the double agent," you know? So although it's not something that I would normally do, because if that much drama is going on, I'm not gonna be in the situation. But I did it for the sake of my parents because they still wanted to see my nephew, they still wanted normal holiday time, they wanted family time, with some kind of peace. So once I removed and she was just getting too much. So before I removed myself, I said to my father, "Listen,